Now, I'm not going to sit here and write out a big long script like other YouTubers do. I'm not going to blow smoke up Bungie's ass. I'm not going to make a really cleverly thought out balanced argument like somebody like Datto would do. I'm just going to do what I always do, and that is to speak from my heart. Now, apparently I am a view whore, money whore, sellout to Bungie, but that's not the case. I want to talk today about the things that are wrong with Destiny, the things that are wrong with the House of Wolves specifically. But first, YouTube is made for people to view videos. If you're not making a video with the intention to gain views, then you are not doing YouTube right. Every single YouTuber is a view whore. As for money whore, yes, I've always admitted to this. I like money. I need money to survive. But you don't see the fact that I also donated over $200 this month to other Destiny YouTubers and streamers. Nobody seems to notice those things though. But yeah. And as for blowing smoke up Bungie's ass because they invited me out to one event, not the case at all. I will always be honest, genuine, and speak my mind as the reason why most people hate me on this YouTube thing. But you know, whatever. Let's get into the video and what is wrong with Destiny in my eyes, in my opinion, and what I think of it. Things that I think of, you might not think is an issue, but that is just how the world works. Now, people seem to think that I just play Destiny for YouTube, which is kind of true at the moment because there's not much content left for me to cover. But I love Destiny. I love this game. It is the kind of game that I've always been attracted to, but on a different, unique scale. I've always played first-person shooters, and I've always played MMOs, things like World of Warcraft. I got addicted to World of Warcraft at one point. So to kind of like smash those games together and bring out this nice little unique baby, this game was just made for me to play and enjoy, and I spend every single day playing this game for the fact that I love it, as well as YouTube recently. But before, you know, content started to dry up, and that's what we're going to talk about with the House of Wolves, I absolutely love this game. I would not have put 2,500 plus hours into the game if I didn't like playing it. That is over 100 days of in-game time. People don't seem to realise that I put that much effort into this game though, but you know. Let's talk about House of Wolves. What went wrong? To be honest, not much. You know, the game is in a development phase still. Like, yes, it's a full game that's been released, but they're still developing their story. They're still developing the game for the next 10 years. And that is case in point with other games that come out like MMOs. World of Warcraft, the first year struggled. People struggled for content. It was exactly the same as this, but then it lasted 10 years and is one of the biggest games this world has ever seen. And Destiny has that potential. And that's why I am not too upset or angry about the things that have happened in the first year or haven't happened, and such things like costs of collector's editions that people are going crazy about, because I know what they're trying to build towards because I've been through this with other games. But for me personally, there was some things that were missing from the House of Wolves specifically anyway. So because of the feedback of the Dark Below not being enough content and such things, you know, they threw together all this great stuff, and the ideas and thought process behind this stuff was great, and the actual design of things was amazing. The Prison of Elders was an incredible thing to create, a horde mode based thing with loads of different bosses, loads of different enemies, rooms, burns, mods. But there wasn't really much reason to play it because the rewards at the end were not worth the time you would put in. And that is my biggest issue with the House of Wolves in general, was specifically the Prison of Elders, which was a great idea, just did not have the rewards warranting the time you have to put in to complete them. Now, everyone is sort of addicted to that loot treasure reward feeling, and the treasure room epitomizes that. But when you open those chests, you feel let down. You feel let down because you're only going to get Queen's weapons from them, and the Queen's weapons aren't really that great. There's one or two that you can re-roll to being decent, but they're not as good as the small amount of weapons that everybody keeps around because they are better weapons. And that is my issue with the House of Wolves specifically, was that the Prison of Elders just did not have enough loot rewards to warrant playing it and doing it. As for the story mode, I believe it was just enough, and I mean just enough to enjoy. Yes, it was probably completed in one day, but you know, there was a lot of information there, there's a lot of things to do, and it satisfied me to just the minimum amount of level that I need to be satisfied. I wouldn't have mind seeing double or maybe triple the story, but hey, that might come with the Taken King. It's one of those things that they have to learn and adapt and see what the feedback is and then grow from there. But in my opinion, there was just enough story, could have been more. And now the big thing, the main issue for a lot of people, PvP, Crucible, Trials of Osiris. The only issue I personally have with this in terms of Bungie is the lag. The lag issues are ridiculous. It will go from being a perfect connection to you not being able to shoot anyone or hit anyone, and then you just die randomly to something that happened 10 minutes ago. That is the problem with Crucible. The only thing that Bungie can change, because everything else they've worked towards changing. Final round snipers was eliminated. All the patches they've done on guns is solely because of feedback from us and what we don't like. But the thing is that they can't take away those guns from the people that already had them. The people who had the final round snipers, you can't change that. You can't just take their gun away from them, because that's unfair. That is unfair to those people who use those weapons. While blink shotgunning and things are still an issue, and the fawn is still an issue, you know, we don't know what they're doing to work on that right now. So I try not to talk too much about it, but in my opinion, they need nerfing. But with Crucible and PvP, Trials of Osiris, it really only comes down to how we play the game. When I played the beta way back before Destiny was even out, the game was phenomenal. The time to kill was about 5 to 6 seconds, and it felt like you were in a war. It felt like you were in a battle. But with all these new weapons and exotics and such things, and you can argue that Bungie made those weapons too powerful, but it's how people use them. You know, like you'll see people just sitting way back in a corner with a sniper, camping and just being one of those irritating people. You'll see people blink shotgunning because it's the easiest way to get in and be aggressive and kill people, because the shotguns are better than most weapons. But the problems with Crucible really come down to how we play it, because these issues wouldn't exist if we didn't choose to play the way people play. Like, the only way I can equate it to is that the Call of Duty meta and how people play that to be, you know, pro, to be the next Scumpy, to be the next competitive player. People just sort of took that mentality and put it into Destiny, but that isn't what Destiny's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a fun experience, and back when the beta was about, it was incredibly fun. And when we went to Seattle to Bungie Studios to record early footage, playing Trials of Osiris against other people who don't want to play the way that most people play in general was so much fun, and there was so much competitiveness there. There was just everything about it was so intense. But now when people find these things like final round snipers and find the best places to camp, you know, it becomes that boring gameplay, and people who want to rush, people who want to blink shotgun, who want to have fun, kind of just get destroyed because people are so desperate to get that 9-0 win. And you know, 9-0 flawless I should say. For me, going 9-0 flawless wasn't that big of a deal. The weapons that you got weren't that great. They were useful in certain situations, but they weren't that great. And that ultimately for me is another issue as well, where there was only a select few guns that you need to be able to win at this game. Vision of Confluence, Fangavir Utes for PvE. That's really, if you think about it, they're the only two guns you need. Galahorn, not everyone's got it, but you know, it's repeatedly used over and over again. And then all you need is some kind of long range shotgun, a sniper if you feel like sniping, but that's like all you need. And then with Crucible, you've got the same weapons we just mentioned. People use the Fangavir and Vision of Confluence against me all the damn time, but then all you need is like Red Death, Fawn, Last Word, and that's it. That's all you need. There's probably like 10 guns max that people need to be able to succeed at this, and that's the issue. It should be every single gun is competitive with another gun in any way, shape or form. Scout rifles should be ridiculously good from long range, but close range they shouldn't be able to destroy people like they do. Fawn should have a really less range in my opinion, and a little bit impact. Last Word just needs to be fixed because it's broken. Shotguns need to have the ability that when you blink, it takes at least a second for you to steady yourself to be able to shoot, because being able to blink and shoot in midair is what the issue is. I don't even think the range needs to be nerfed on it, but it would be nice. Something needs to be done about heavy weapons, where rockets are just too good. And I mean, if you nerf rockets too much, then LMGs become too good. But I'm an LMG player. I love using LMGs. I feel like rockets are mindless. You just point and click, you know what I mean, and then someone's dead. So I would much rather see the blast radius on rockets be a lot lower, so you have to be pretty much direct impact to kill someone, or at least splash damage on the floor near them, instead of just having like every rocket launcher with grenade and horseshoes just destroying everything. It just seems a little bit unfair. Auto rifles need a major buff. Auto rifles need to be able to be competitive, because to be honest, the most fun I have ever had in Crucible was during the beta when I was using a blue auto rifle. That was the most fun I've ever had on this game, because it felt like you were winning the fight. It felt like you were better than the other person, and that's another issue I have with Crucible, is that you don't feel like you got killed by the better person. You just feel like you got killed by the more overpowered gun, or the person who's willing to play like a virgin, let's say. And you know, those are fundamentally my issues with Destiny. I mean, there's other little things that I haven't mentioned, but I don't seem they're too relevant. But all in all, I loved The Dark Below and The House of Wolves. I love both DLCs. They were lacking things here and there, but you know, who knows what they're planning in the future. I love this game. I love everything about it. I love being able to do it for my job. Like, it's the ideal thing for me at this time of my life. It came along at the right time, and it's gave me a lot of good stuff to be happy and positive about. But I've also put the time, the work and the hours into this game, and I have played games enough to know what real issues are. And in my opinion, the only issue with Crucible is the lag that Bungie can personally fix. Everything else, no matter what they change on the guns, people will find a way to lame it out. It's just how PvP is across all games. It doesn't matter what's overpowered or what's not. People will find a way to be that frustrating, irritating thing. Yes, I do believe little things can be changed, like the fawn and the last word, but ultimately it's still going to be frustrating. And all I would like to see is a little bit more story mode, a little bit more stuff to do, but as well a lot more rewards for doing that stuff. Those are my thoughts anyway, guys. Sorry for the little bit of a longer video. I just wanted to talk about something different. Destiny's down at the moment, so you know, I thought I'd just do something different and just talk about some stuff. I hope you appreciate that. Hit the comment section below, let me know what you think about all this stuff, about what you think the issues are. Tell me if I'm wrong. You probably are going to anyway, because I'm going to get nothing but hate. But anyway, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.